How you doing? This is Edward Ashley, uh, and it's video number 4. It's March 17th and 2022. I think it's March 17th. I'm not even sure what day it is. Anyway, I haven't looked at my calendar or anything, but it's my 4th video, and it's morning, and I'm getting ready and getting dressed and getting ready. As I told you yesterday, one of the guys I met at the REI, which is the Real Estate Investment Group. I forgot everybody watching isn't necessarily in this. So the REI, which is a real estate investment group that meets these two guys sitting at my table. Well, they're partners, and one owns a lot of property, and he also finances the other one. The other one's a realtor investor, and so I'm going with this partner out to the property today that I want to look at in a place called Wilbur, Washington. And if you're wondering, yes, it's exactly like it sounds. It's in the middle. It's only an hour outside of Spokane, but an hour is, if like from New York or Jersey or Connecticut. Like my dad used to. We lived in Amityville, so he used to drive to Queens every day, and then started taking the train. So an hour commute is nothing. If for people who are from California, New York, D.C., Detroit, and there's a bunch of us here. So it sparks my interest. So I'm riding out there with him, and again, I'm going to reiterate a few things I said yesterday. And this guy excites me because he doesn't believe that the way I'm going to do this, that I'm putting it together, he doesn't believe it's a viable, scalable way of doing business. Yet my mentor does one or two of these a month. And if you think about it, if you just did one or two of these a month and all you did walk away from the closing table with $5,000 from each, that's not a bad income. Plus you own the property and you're creating monthly wealth, because each time you do one and do it right, you have, even if it's just $200 or $300 a month above all your expenses, okay, and then you have depreciation on that. You get to keep most of that money. So that excites me that nobody else here believes in this, because that's to my advantage. Because as I do this, all I need is 2 or 3 people that I do it with once, or like, show me how to do that. Let's partner on this. That's the other side of the goal, is to show, and I think I've got his interest, because he doesn't believe it'll work, and he says, prove me wrong. And that's basically, this trip um, is about needling him in the right way that he wants me to prove that this thing works. He almost had a deal similar to this, but he's never been trained in it. And I spent 4 days on just this one topic in the Ron LeGrand course. 4 long days, and because I'm on the West Coast, it was 5 o'clock my time is when it started, because 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and his training is in Florida. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. So he starts at 8, so I have to start at 5. But 4 grueling days, and it's wonderful days. I got all my notes. I got my so many things, and then I've also got a mentor I'm working with. So that's today. I mean, this is a really simple, small video, but that's what's happening today. And so I'm going to help him. He's doing a trash run. I'm riding with him out there. I'm putting on my dirty clothes, or the clothes I can get dirty, and I've my old trucking clothes, and go out there and help him, my boots, and I'm going to help him discard the trash, take pictures, walk around, and since I'm going to ride with him, I'm going to pick his brain and discuss how I see this deal working out, and get his interest, because they can sell this property like this. He's already got a lot of interest from Craigslist, so if it's not already sold, I'll be putting an offer in on this tonight. I'm sure of this. Because once I get back, I've taken pictures. I've found a few comparable, we call it comps, which are comparables, which are properties that sold recently within usually a half mile of the. At first I couldn't find any, but I found 2. They're not great, but they give me a good idea that this would be worth it. So I'm buying this, they're advertising at 129, but the guy already screwed up, because when we were sitting at the table, he said, well, his partner said, well, I'd take 110. And then talking to this guy, they just want enough out of it, and they're doing seller financing, so I don't need a bank. They just want enough money out of it that they have basically $5,000 down. I pay the closing costs. And here's the other part of that. I need enough time before we close that I actually find my buyer tenant who'll give me the money to close. And that's the most genius part of this whole thing. And it's not my idea. This is my mentor does this all the time. He actually takes their check because if he was selling it to them right now, attorneys won't do. They used to do that. They won't do that. But this guy's going to give you a check, and you cash it. And you go to closing. You actually close on the property with their check. What's left over is yours. Put in your pocket. Then you bring them 2 days later to the attorney, and actually have the attorney do their lease and option agreement, and they pay the attorney and bring your first monthly rent. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It sounds impossible. It sounds ludicrous. Why would people do that? They do it all the time. They do it all the time. 70% of the people who are able to buy cannot get a bank loan. When I say able to buy, they have the money. 70% have the money, but for one reason or another, especially after, it's probably more like 72, 73% because of COVID, what happened in COVID. So people say, well, this excites me because it's something, not everybody's doing it. So it excites me. Why would you? Nobody else is doing it. That's right. Nobody else is doing it. I mean, nobody else was building electric cars until Tesla. I mean, Elon Musk. Nobody was doing a PayPal till Elon Musk. And for those of you who are not aware, he's African American, right? He's from South Africa. I know he's white, but he's from South Africa, and he's getting his American citizenship. He's technically the purest African American because he's from Africa, becoming an American. Just what you like. That's just funny to me. Okay. Anyway, aside from that, I couldn't help myself. Sorry, but before the Wright brothers, nobody flew. It was impossible to fly. Before people realized, it's funny. Before Columbus, you had all these people. You had Africans, Polynesians, and Vikings all coming to doing trade with America. Yet Columbus supposedly discovered America. Anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. But no one else is doing it. It's impossible. No, it's not impossible. And there are other people doing it. It's only a handful. And because of how complicated it seems, nobody else wants to do it. This is how I break into this market. One way I break in. And this is where just doing the first deal and talking about it at the next one, I should get 2 or 3. I believe I'll get another deal out of the next one, and out of the next one, and out of the next one. And if that's the only place I get deals, I only need 1 or 2 a month to be fine, to far exceed the income I had at my job. 1 or 2 a month. And I far exceed the income I had at my former job. So that's how I'm looking at it. Anyway, thank you all. Have a good day. And thanks for keeping me accountable. And it is Thursday. That's right. It's Thursday. Okay, have a good day. Bye.